Stay with me. We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back. And the police just, he's covered. They killed my boyfriend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for back. I will, sir. No worries. I will. Fuck! He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Just keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone. Please don't tell me that he's gone. Please, officer, don't tell me that you just did this to him. You shot 4 bullets into him, sir. He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
Get the female passenger out.
Ma'am, exit the car right now with your hands up. Let me see your hands. Exit now. Keep them up. Keep them up.
Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Face away from me and walk backwards. Walk backwards towards me. Keep walking.
Backwards. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
Ma'am, you're just being detained right now until we get this all sorted out, okay?
They threw my phone, Facebook. Please don't tell me, Lord Jesus, please don't tell me.
First here.
Okay,
any weapons or anything?
No, please don't tell me my boyfriend is gone. Here, take it off my hand. Please don't tell me he's gone. Please, Jesus, no! Please, no!
Stand up, walk over to me.
No, don't let him be gone, Lord!
Now, the problem was speaking about issues and with my people in our community. The thing that we keep running into when we speak about issues is we have to keep addressing the same situations and the same incidents over and over and over. And I don't know how many times it's going to take for us to wake up and start doing shit, to get it popping, do whatever we got to do. But here, again, we have another situation of the same old thing, the same old song, same shit, different fucking day. I know a lot of you have heard about the Philando Castile trial, and where the officer is found not guilty for just shooting the fuck out of this dude, even though, again, got video evidence. We've been getting video evidence for like 20 years now, okay? How much more evidence do we need to see that shit doesn't matter to these people? Now, before we talk about the Philando Castile case, let's go to the story and see exactly what happened.
Guilty. That is the verdict in the trial of St. Anthony police officer Jeronimo Yanez.
Jurors found Yanez was reasonable in his decision to shoot and kill Philando Castile during a traffic stop last July. Officer Yanez was charged with manslaughter. The jury also found him not guilty in 2 other counts of endangering Philando Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, and her child.
Reynolds broadcast the immediate aftermath of that shooting live on Facebook. It gained worldwide attention. She testified in court that Castile was reaching for his wallet during the traffic stop in Falcon Heights. Officer Yanez, however, said he saw a gun in Castile's pocket and fired in self-defense when he thought Castile was reaching for the weapon.
We have team coverage of the verdict. We're going to start at the courthouse in St. Paul. That is where Reg Chapman is. He's been talking with Philando Castile's family. Hello, Reg.
Amelia, Valerie Castile's emotional outburst in court after that not guilty verdict was read was followed by an emotional message to the crowds that were gathered here in St. Paul outside the Ramsey County Courthouse. Now, both Valerie Castile and her daughter Alize Castile say they have no faith in the justice system. Both say what happened today is not justice. They say they are mad that after 29 hours of deliberating, a jury exonerated the police officer who shot and killed Philando Castile.
We're going back down to 1969. Damn! What is it gonna take? I'm mad as hell right now. Yes, I am. My firstborn one son died here in Minnesota. Under the circumstances, just because he was a police officer, that makes it okay. Oh, now they got free reign. He's found innocent on all counts. He's shot into a car with no regards to human life, and that's okay. Thank you, Minnesota. Thank you, Minnesota.
The system really is wrong, and they really failed us. They really failed us once again, because my brother was a good man. You never even heard him raise his voice. You never even heard him yell. And for that man to get on the stand and lie.
Now, Valerie Castile also told that crowd that Yanez may have gotten away with justice on this planet, but he will not get away with divine justice. She says that he will one day have to answer to a higher power. Frank and Amelia.
All right, Reg, thank you.
All right, so another case, another dead black person, another not guilty, another person exonerated on all charges. At what point does this not become a surprise? Damn, hundreds of years of this shit. At some point, it has to not be a surprise anymore. Now, you know, of course, people are going to say, well, he wasn't white. He was Hispanic. He was Hispanic. He wasn't white. Let's start here. The jury was made up of 10 white people and 2 black people. Right, so white people are a jury most times in these cases. White people are the judges, the lawyers. Now, you know, it's the same old story. So that's why I always say, shit, if you want to change it, you have to be the fucking lawyers. You have to be the goddamn judges. And the case that I will always use is Judge Olu Stevens. And the fact that he had all-white jury, and he dismissed it because he had a black defendant, and he felt like it was racial bias involved. And he got in trouble, and he was called the racist. That's the thing they have always done. Or they called Martin Luther King racist. It's not new. The arguments they have is the same arguments they had in 1954. And the difference between now and then is they have had to suppress that shit for 50 years. And they fucking tired of it. The whole justice system is based off of white dominance. And that's just no other way around it. And then they turn around and throw these statistics and say, well, you know, black people are the ones that are violent. Now, when you count these records, what are you basing that off of? Are you saying that this is the people who are convicted of the crime, accused of the crime, arrested for the crime, charged with the crime? What does this statistic come from? Let me see your fucking source on that. And in the case of Philando Castile, he may have had a gun. He said, well, hey, I have a legal gun. I'm letting you know he followed all of the rules, because apparently we think that the Second Amendment, or any amendment besides the 13th, like 14th, 15th, and shit like that apply to us. The Bill of Rights apply to us, when it really fucking doesn't in this country. At no point during the existence of the Bill of Rights did it fit the description for black people. At some point, we gotta wake up and realize that. And to go out and start marching about it ain't gonna solve anything. Right? The only time we should be marching is to commemorate the history of our ancestors, all the things that they did. Only time we should be having Million Man marches is to celebrate what our ancestors achieved and the legacy that they left. But we have to be leaving our own legacy and moving this thing forward from what they did and not let it slip back. And I want to make it clear, in America, as long as it's been the United States of America, this is the best time it has ever been for black people. And to say it is not is disrespectful to our ancestors. But to say it is where we want to be is fucking foolish. And to say that white dominance in the society that we live in isn't what it is ridiculous. But at the same time, to keep talking about it and crying about it ain't gonna do much good, because obviously they know that already. They're the ones who are doing it. At some point, we are the ones who have to stop it. We are all we got. You know, people love to throw the Hispanic term out there and the whole people of color idea out there as well. But Hispanic countries have racism. The people with more melanin are more discriminated against. It seems to be a theme throughout the fucking world. Us sitting there trying to convince them and get them on our side ain't gonna help. We can only help ourselves, and we can only do what we're supposed to do in order for us to prosper. And the point is, we have to protect ourselves and what we build, because every time we have built something, history shows it has been under attack. And it's time to teach our children how to become lawyers and doctors and become judges and become policymakers for your local community. We have to go out and become these things to be in control of your local area, your local representatives, to where your immediate tax money is going, the potholes in your city that's going to get fixed, the jobs that's going to get brought to your city, the police that you'll have in your city, the DA that you'll have in your city. And what I would say about Judge Olu Stevens, yeah, the white people attacked him for not letting the standard be an all-white jury. But we didn't have his back for the scrutiny that he had to face. It should have been black people having his back, especially black attorneys and black judges. That's the mindset we have to have. We have to start looking at each other, because we are all we got. Our ancestors was forced to become millionaires. Now we have to psychologically pick ourselves back up from every attack that has been and that continue. Now, you know, another brother murdered, no accountability by a cop, and if you that fucking scared, you shouldn't be a cop. But, you know, it's the same old thing. When you see three black dudes, it could be one black dude walking down the street in a white tee or something, God forbid he has dreads, you're going to start gripping your purse a little tighter. You're going to start thinking in your head, yo, if he tried me, could I defend myself right now? And to let you know that shit is instilled, it's not only white people, it's black people who feel the same fucking way. You have to identify that shit in your head and recognize that shit is ridiculous. But it has been placed into people's head in images and all of that shit, that you just assume that this black dude might challenge you. Now, me being a black man, I was like, damn. You know, there's a whole psychology instilled into us from a young age. And that's why we have to start teaching our own children, sending them to our own schools, and educating them ourselves with the whole history, the truth. You know, teach them to become successful, teach them money management, because we are all we got. But, you know, same old thing, same old story. But, you know, what are we going to do here? It's a fucking crossroads. Are we going to come together or not? Are we going to just let the shit keep riding? The main thing is divide and conquer. It's simple, but a very effective technique. You know, I want to hear what you got to say about the Philando Castile case.
I'm going to stop a car. I'm going to check the IDs. I have reason to pull it over. The two occupants just look like people that were involved in a robbery. The driver looks more like one of our suspects just because of the wide set nose.
Shots fired. Larpenter and Fry.
Copy, you just heard it? You just heard the shots fired?
Shots fired!
Copy, shots fired, Larpenter and Fry. Do you need medics?
Medics, code 3.
Copy, medics, code 3 to Larpenter and Fry.
One adult female is taken into custody. Driver at gunpoint.
Well, sir. Good. How are you? Good. Reason I pulled you over, your brake lights are out. So you only have one active brake light, and that's going to be your passenger side one. Your third brake light, which is up here on top, and then this one back here, is going to be out. You have your license and insurance?
I do have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out.
I'm not pulling it out.
Don't pull it out.
You just killed my boy. He wasn't.
Don't pull it out.
He wasn't.
Don't move. Fuck.
Oh man,
Fuck.
oh my God. Oh my God.
Don't move.
Oh my
Don't
God.
move.
Oh my God. I'm shaking.
Don't move.
Don't move, baby.
Code 3. Get the baby girl out of here. Fuck. Don't move.
Don't move, babe, please.
Fuck.
Whatever you
6921. Get back there. Code 3. Shots fired. Fuck.
stay with me.
Medics, code 3.
We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back.
The outcome of the case hinged on those 12 jurors. By all accounts, reaching the verdict today was no easy task.
Those jurors were split on the decision earlier this week. One of those jurors called deliberations, quote, very, very hard. John Croman caught up with that juror after the verdict was announced, and he joins us live with more. John?
Well, Randy, Denny Ploussard, who drives a medical transport van for a living, told us straight up Philando Castile shouldn't have been killed. But he said the state failed to prove the case, the legal standard at least, that Officer Yanez was culpably negligent.
Well, I think that was the major holdup. Did he see the gun or did he not?
Move, guys. That's juror Denny Ploussard on the divide between the 10 jurors who immediately wanted to acquit Officer Jeronimo Yanez on Monday and the 2 who held out 4 more days for conviction.
We had 10 whites and 2 blacks. The 2 blacks were not the holdouts.
Ploussard said that the expert witnesses were interesting but not the most important factor for the jurors.
Well, what it really boiled down to is he kept reaching when Yanez gave 3 commands, don't reach, and he kept reaching.
But he doesn't necessarily believe Philando Castile wanted to shoot the officer.
He might have been pulling it out just because he wants to show the officer, because he told the officer he had a gun. So he might have been just pulling it out, so here you go.
His first reaction to the dash cam video?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, I thought it was disgusting. I say, how could a guy shoot a guy like that?
But as the trial wore on,
my position changed.
He had a firearm.
As for Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, who brought the world's attention to the case,
I feel so sorry for Diamond Reynolds, I do. I mean, I absolutely do. But personally, I didn't find her credible.
The jury's reaction to the Castile family storming out of the courtroom?
All my jurors that I was with for this week felt the same thing I felt, devastated for the family. But it came down where the verdict was, I felt the right verdict according to what the law states.
Denny didn't find Diamond Reynolds credible. He says it's because she changed her story, or he felt she changed her story on what side of his pants Philando Castile kept his wallet, the left or the right, on that fateful night up on Lavender.
During this 5-hour-long protest, we saw people throwing large rocks and other things at police officers. Police arrested more than 100 people. They say 21 officers were hurt. One of them has a spinal compression injury. Esme Murphy has more on the arrest. And Esme, the word we just heard about half an hour ago.
That's right, Frank. I can tell you that one person has been charged with felony assault. He is accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at officers. 46 others have been charged with gross misdemeanor, third-degree riot, unlawful assembly, and public nuisance charges. Bail has been set for them at $1,500, and they could all make their first court appearance as soon as tomorrow. The 46 were the ones who were arrested after they shut down Interstate 94 overnight Saturday. Those who were arrested on the riot count are overwhelmingly white. A number of them have a history of work in the social justice field. Kate Haviland of St. Paul has long been active in social and environmental causes. Saturday night, she posted video on her Facebook page showing the interstate shutdown. Edith Sargon is the executive director of Wellstone Action and is the author of a blog entitled Move to End Violence. Catherine Bizance is the program director at the Sexual Violence Center in Minneapolis. The center's executive director expressed disbelief at her arrest, saying Catherine is a wonderful rape crisis counselor. She works with police every day. There is no way she was inciting a riot. Also arrested, Max Hornstein, the 21-year-old son of State Representative Frank Hornstein and prominent Twin Cities rabbi Marcia Zimmerman. Representative Hornstein said of his son, quote, "We love him very much. He's a nonviolent kid. We reject violence in any form." Supporters of those being held have been gathering outside the Ramsey County Jail. Prosecutors have until 10 p.m. to file charges. Attorney Joe Tamburino says the prosecutors do not have to prove the individuals were the ones who threw objects and injured officers.
Riot doesn't mean that each participant was doing the violent act. What it says is that 3 or more people are together, they're doing something that's basically disorderly, and it involves violence or threats or harm to people or property.
In a statement, the St. Paul City Attorney stressed what Police Chief Todd Axtell said yesterday, that these protesters who are getting charged refused more than 24 orders by police to have them leave the interstate. Now, again, one person is facing felony riot charges. Other 46 are facing gross misdemeanor riot charges.
I'm sure y'all seen this bullshit that happened today. Fuck what they talking about. Yeah, I'm going live now. I've been holding myself, trying to be strong and not say the wrong things because I already know how they get down. I'm 61 years old. I've seen it. I've smelled it. I've heard it. Now you see exactly what these motherfuckers think about us. They murdered my motherfucking son with his seatbelt on. So what does that say to you? Now they got free reign to keep killing us any kind of way they want to. So I just want to say one thing to everybody out there. I don't give a fuck what you do. Do what your heart desires, because that shit wasn't right. And I'm here to say that, and fuck the police. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. Now this is the real Valerie Castile. I don't give no fuck no more. This shit is crazy. You gonna kill a man in front of a child and a woman. Who gonna bring some children to a motherfucking gunfight? Come the fuck on, please. I don't know where they got them motherfucking jewelers from, but that was some straight up bullshit. And they gonna keep on killing us as long as we sit down and just take it. Oh yeah, he was in fear for his life. Bull motherfucking shit. You shouldn't be no police officer if you gonna handle yourself in that manner. Do what you do. Because this shit gonna keep on happening, and it's gonna be you one day in this fucked up mother's club with their children murdered by the motherfucking police. I don't give no fuck. Man, y'all just don't know how sister feeling right now. If I had it my way, it's on and cracking. Fuck that shit. I'm sick of this shit. Y'all been killing motherfuckers all these years, but here in Minnesota, this cracker Bama ass motherfucking state, fuck these motherfuckers.